My name is Clint, and this is Ashtanga Yoga, and welcome. Like last week, I did a little, more of a, not really even a workshop, but I spent a little more time on the Navasana that might be able to help. And today, we'll spend a little time on the Padangusthasana and Padahastasana, the first standing poses when we get there. And one thing that you really need when you get to that point is your hamstrings have to be really warmed up, because that's the pose where you reach down, grab onto your toes, and then place your palms underneath. And for, well, probably the first 8 years I did yoga, I thought, okay, well, you stretch over as far as you can, you stretch your hamstrings, and then you try to put your hands under. Well, that doesn't work, not at all. So anyway, let's get straight to the warm-up. And again, as always, listen to your breath. Let your breath be your guide. And in any kind of vinyasa in particular, when you have to breathe through your mouth, that means that your breath has gone hypoxic, meaning that you need to take in more air, more oxygen. Hypoxic means that you're consuming more oxygen than you are breathing in. And so the only way that you can increase that is by breathing faster through your mouth and bypassing all of the safeguards that you have for the air coming into your lungs. Your nose provides a great deal of filtering all those pesky nose hairs that you have. Those function very well. And anyway, so if you have to breathe through your mouth, that's your body telling you to slow down. And that's the mark of a good yogi, knowing when to slow down. And it doesn't matter how advanced you are. Some days are better than others. So listen to your breath. Let's start off in Tadasana. So come to the top of your mat. Get your feet pointed towards the front of the mat. Hip width apart. Isometrically drag your heels in all your feet, both feet together. Engaging the muscles in your legs and your hips. Take your upper inner thighs, roll them towards the back of the mat, and then tuck your tailbone under. That'll straighten up your spine. Lift the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Tuck your chin a little bit. Inhale, raise your shoulders up. Roll them back. Let them just float down your back towards your hips. Let your hands come by your side in any direction that your bones require you to be in. From here, you can close your eyes if you're stable. Maybe lift your toes and place them down and grip. Breathe in and out through your nose. And then begin to engage your mula bandhas, your pelvic floor muscles. I will begin to build some heat, which you'll need. It also helps your heart rate get up. Add to them your Uddiyana bandhas, those muscles halfway between your navel and your pubic bone. And that will begin to constrict the movement of your lungs by preventing your organs from being pushed all the way down below your rib cage. That's okay. Listen to your breath here. See if you can feel it rushing through your nostrils, through the maze of channels and furrows in your sinuses, and run down the back of your throat into your bronchial tubes. And then begin to engage your Jalalahara bandhas. That's the back of your throat. You can close that off a little bit and create some sound with your breath. And you can use the sound to monitor. Open your eyes. And then on your next inhale, bring your arms out and up and overhead. Gaze up at your palms. And then slowly let your arms float down by your side on the exhale. Inhale, arms out and up again. Gaze up, get an arch in the back. And then let your arms float all the way down. But as you go down, reach out as far as you can, stretching your arms and shoulders. Inhale one more time. All the way up. And then this time on your exhale, swan dive forward, bending your knees a little or a lot. Bring your hands or your fingers down to the mat. We'll be here for about 5 breaths. Begin to straighten up your hamstrings. I saw some of you stretching your hamstrings earlier, which was wise. With your inhales, come up about halfway. And then forward fold again. You can always grab onto your ankles and draw your chest a little bit closer to your knees. And then inhale, come up halfway, gaze at that horizon. That straightens out your spine. Exhale, forward fold. And then inhale, use your legs to rise all the way up, arms overhead, and lower your palms to Samastitihi in front of your heart. And then lower your arms to Tadasana and begin again. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold all the way over. See if your hamstrings have loosened up a little bit more. You can always walk one leg and then the other by bending the knee. And on your 5th inhale, come up halfway, gaze at that horizon, pause here for just a moment. Try to stretch your spine really long. Push your butt back, tuck your tailbone under, and then exhale, forward fold again. Inhale, using your legs, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. Hands to Samastitihi. And then Tadasana. Couple side bends and then twist. Inhale, arms up overhead. This time, grab your left wrist with your right hand, weight into your left foot rather, and then begin to side bend to the right. Make sure you're not bending forward. Really lengthen that left arm by pushing that wrist away with your right hand. And on your next inhale, rise all the way up. Switch hands. Right hip goes out, bend to the left. All your weight is in your right foot. Can you hear your breath? Five, inhale all the way back up. Hands to Samastitihi. And then Tadasana. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. This time your right hand moves towards the middle, and then on an inhale, your left arm comes out and up overhead, twisting to the left. Try to get your shoulder blades vertical. Left leg can be straight, your right leg can be bent. And 5, exhale, left hand down. Inhale that right arm up. Exhale, right hand down. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms up overhead. Hands to Samastitihi, and then Tadasana. Okay, so now we're going to run through the Namaskar A's and 2 B's. So we'll do 4 A's. We'll start with holding the plank. I think we'll try to do 5 plank up, and then maybe 5 where you're lowered down, just hovering. And if that works, fine. If it doesn't, that's fine too. So on an inhale, arms up overhead, gaze up. Exhale, swan dive forward, fold. Inhale up halfway, gaze at the horizon. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. And pause here for about 5 breaths. And then on your 5th exhale, come down and forward, hover. And then lower all the way. Bring your toenails down to the mat. Push your hands into the mat. Raise your chest up into cobra. Curl your toes under. Lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog. And walk out your dog. Four. And 5. Look between your hands. Hop, step, or float to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead. Hands to Samasthiti, and then Tadasana. Now without pause, inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Drop your chest between your shoulders. Try to draw the eyes of your elbows toward each other. And 5, looking between your hands. Hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale, up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. And hands to Samasthiti. And then Tadasana. 2 more. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. And come down halfway. Inhale, roll forward over your toes. Up dog. Exhale, down dog. Try tucking your tailbone under here. That will lengthen your spine. Pushing your heels down. Stretches your hamstrings. And 5, look between your hands, hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, arms overhead. Hands to Samasthiti, and then Tadasana. 1 more A. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step and jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, roll over your toes, up dog. Exhale, down dog. You take a break whenever you need it. And 5. Look between your hands, hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale, up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. Hands to Samasthiti. And then Tadasana. Okay, now we're going to do a normal Namaskara B, and then we'll hold the second one. So on your inhale, drop your seat, raise your arms up into chair, Gustasna. Tuck your tailbone under again. Push those fingertips far away. 4. And on your 5th exhale, forward fold over straight legs. Hands to the mat. Inhale, up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale to up dog. Exhale, down dog. Turn the left foot out. Step the right foot forward. Inhale, rise up to warrior 1. Exhale, hands right back down to the mat. Step, come down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Right foot turns out. Left foot comes forward. Inhale, warrior 1. Exhale, down. Step back to plank. And down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And slow down your breathing. And 5. Look between your hands, hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway, gaze at that horizon. Exhale, forward fold. Listen carefully. On your inhale, drop your seat. Raise your arms up to Vadakanasana. And rise all the way up, arms overhead. And hands to Samastitihi. And then Tadasana. On your next inhale, drop your seat, raise your hands up, Gustasna for 5 breaths. On your 5th exhale, forward fold over straight legs. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back. And down halfway. Inhale to up dog. Exhale, down dog. Left foot's out. Right foot comes forward. Inhale. Arms up to warrior 1. Make sure your left heel and pinky toe are down. And that right knee a little bit more maybe. And 5. Let your arms float down by your side. Come around behind you. Interlace your fingers. Push your knuckles down, chest high. And exhale. Fold forward into humble warrior. Crown of your head goes down. Your knuckles go up. With each breath, each inhale, maybe your knuckles can come up a little bit higher. And 5. Release your bind. Rotate your arms down towards the mat. Right on up to warrior 1. Exhale, hands to your mat. Step back to plank and come down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Your left foot's turned out, right foot comes forward. Inhale, rise all the way up. Warrior 1 on the left. Reach those hands high. And 5. Let your arms pull down. Interlace your fingers the opposite direction. Behind your back. Push your palms down, lifting up your chest. And exhale, forward fold. In 5, exhale, release your bind. Arms float down, coming all the way around to warrior 1 again. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And rest here for 5 breaths. Slow down your breathing. And 5, look between your hands. Hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Listen carefully. Inhale, drop your seat. Raise your arms up with Gustasna. Then rise all the way up, arms overhead, hands to Samasthiti, and then Tadasana. Okay, so now we have the Padangusthasana. That's foot to fingers. Pada is foot. Gustasna, gust is your fingers. So hop your feet mat width apart. That will allow your arms a little bit more length to get down. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. You can bend your knees a little or a lot. Grab onto your big toe with your peace fingers. And then inhale. Try lifting your chest. Maybe you can gaze at the horizon, maybe not. But straightness your legs, beginning to put some stress there. And then on an exhale, use the strength in your arms to draw the crown of your head down towards the mat. Now your legs don't have to be perfectly straight. And like all Ashtanga poses, this is not a resting pose, although it's a counter pose. And 5, on the exhale, release. Inhale, come up halfway. Gaze at the horizon. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. Hands to Samasthiti. And then Tadasana. Padangusthasana or Padahastasana, I think is a little more challenging because to get your hand, your palm underneath your foot, maybe you're afraid of lifting up. If you lift both feet up at the same time, that is challenging. I don't do that. I do one at a time. And if you want, you can always bring your hand in from the side. But try to get your big toe as close to your wrist crease as you can get. Arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale. Lift one foot and then place your hand underneath and then the other. Now your arms may be completely extended and your knees are bent a lot. That's okay. Inhale, straighten your spine. If there's, by a miracle, you can gaze at that horizon, go ahead. And then exhale, forward fold, bending your elbows again. Trying to use the strength in your arms to draw the crown of your head down while you straighten-ish your legs. Try lifting your sacrum. 4 and 5. Exhale, release your bind. Inhale, come up halfway. Linger here. Straighten your spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. Hands to Samasthiti. To Tadasana. Then hop your feet back hip width apart. And get ready for a vinyasa, should you decide to choose that. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And 5. Look between your hands. Hop, step, or float. In front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. enhance to Samasthiti, and then to Tadasana. And hopefully you've been feeling your body loosening up. Your hamstrings are probably a lot more flexible now than they were when you started. And each pose builds on the prior. So now we're to the triangles. So from here, take a giant step back towards the back of your mat with your right foot. Left foot comes roughly 90 degrees, arms out into T. From here, drop that front hip, lift the back, and then tip your triangle. That right hand comes down somewhere along the inside of that right leg. Can be the knee, the ankle, possibly the toes. But the most important thing is the twist. So get your shoulder blades vertical. Tuck your right butt cheek under. And 5, inhale, rise all the way back up, arms into T. Just rotate your feet towards the front of the mat. Drop the left hip, raise the right, and then tip your triangle. Coming down. And again, tuck your left butt cheek under. Maybe you can use your left arm against your left leg to help you lean back, fall back, getting your shoulder blades vertical. And 5, inhale, come all the way back up. Rotate your feet towards the back of the mat this time. Step that left foot forward somewhat. Maybe put a little bit more width in between. Rotate your arms so that you're facing the back of the mat and then to the right. From here, revolve triangle, that left hand will start to come down on the outside of that right leg, keeping your legs straight. The right hand, it can be up in the air or on your hip. Draw that right hip back, lengthening up that leg. 4, 5, inhale, rise all the way back up. Rotate your arms out into T. Rotate your feet towards the front of the mat. Adjust your foot locations. Rotate your chest all the way over to the left. Maybe this side is radically different. On an exhale, tip your revolved triangle. Right hand's on the outside of that left leg. Maybe that left arm is up in the air. Maybe not, maybe it's behind you. And 5, inhale, come all the way back up into T. Turn towards the front of the mat, step forward into Samasthiti, and then Tadasana. Another vinyasa. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank and down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Try drawing your chest towards your thighs. And 5, look between your hands. Hop, step, float. Forward fold. Inhale, up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. And hands to Samasthiti, and then to Tadasana. Now we have side angles. So again, giant step back with your right foot on an inhale. Left foot is out to the side, bend that front knee, and come into warrior 2. From here, bend that right elbow, bring the right forearm to the middle of that thigh, rotate that left arm up overhead, reaching towards the corner of the ceiling and wall. be on that right foot. You should have one straight line from your toes to your left fingers. Test how much weight you have on that thigh. Just lifting up that right forearm a little bit. 4 and 5. Inhale, straighten your leg. Come back to T. Rotate your feet towards the front of the mat. Bend that left knee, warrior 2 on the left. Bend that left elbow. Left forearm comes to that thigh. Right arm comes up and overhead. Really stretch. And if you think you might have too much weight on that thigh, just lift that wrist up. Lift that forearm off. Just to keep all the sensations where they're supposed to be. And on an inhale, rise all the way back up to T. Rotate your feet towards the back of the mat. We're going to come back into warrior 2. We're going to do prayer twist. So you may want to rotate your left toes towards the back of the mat. But from here, rotate your chest first. Bring your hands to heart center. And then twist your chest to the right. From here, roll forward, catching your left elbow on top of your right hip, right thigh. Drop your hips. And 5. Inhale, release. Straighten out that right leg. Bring your arms to T. Rotate your feet to the front of the mat. And drop. Bend that left knee. Turn your arms, chin and chest towards the center of the mat. Rotate a little bit more to the left. And then prayer twist on this side. And then use that right arm to help you get your shoulders vertical. Push that right heel down and away. And 5, release. Come back to center. Look towards the front of the mat. Step your right foot to meet the left. Hands to Samasthiti. And then Tadasana. You have another vinyasa. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. Down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And 5. Hop, step, or float to the front of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Hands to Samasthiti. And then Tadasana. Okay, now we have Prasarita. So again, giant step back with your right foot. This time towards the side of your mat. And bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, push your hips forward, chest high, gaze up. And then on an exhale, begin to forward fold. Ultimately, bringing the crown of your head down towards the mat. You can drop your hands to the mat if that is good for you. And 5. Inhale. Bring your hands to your hips. And then on the next inhale, come all the way up, using your arms to help you come up. This time, move your hands closer towards the center of your back. Draw your elbows toward each other. This opens up your chest, stretches your pecs. Inhale, gaze up, feel your shoulder blades touching, and then exhale, forward fold. Keeping your elbows drawn toward each other. As you come forward, trying to get the crown of your head down. And 5. On your inhale, use your elbows to help you rise all the way back up. Bring your arms out into T, thumbs down. Bring your hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers however you wish. Push your knuckles down, lifting up your chest. Gaze up, and on an exhale, forward fold again. This time as your crown of your head comes down, your knuckles go up towards the ceiling. And 5, use your hands to help raise you all the way back up. Bring your arms out into T. Inhale, lift your chest. And exhale, forward fold one last time. Bringing the crown of your head down towards the mat. Maybe you can grab onto your toes. Maybe your arms are on your legs someplace. Doesn't really matter. And 5, bring your hands to your hips. And then inhale, lift your chest all the way up. From here, heel toe your feet together, or heel toe, and then when you can pop them together, go ahead. Turn towards the front, step to the front of your mat, into Tadasana. Have another vinyasa here. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank. And down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And 5, look between your hands. Hop, step, or float. Forward fold. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Arms overhead. And hands to Samasthiti. And then Tadasana. Okay, we have one more standing series. And this is going to be Untitled Padangusthasana. And there are 3 poses to that. All of them are balancing, and I'm going to add in tree to boot. So, starting in Tadasana, lift your toes, spread them wide, and come back down. Come on to your left foot, bend that right knee, lift that right knee up and grab onto your big toe if you can. If that's a challenge, you can always just hug that knee in towards your chest. Straightenish that right leg out. And 5, maybe you can just swing that leg all the way out to the side, maybe not. But bring that leg out to the side by rotating your femur in your hip socket. Or you can just grab onto that knee and draw it in towards your rib cage. And 5, release. Step it down, step that out. Come back to Tadasana. I'm going to continue on this side. So lift your toes again, spread them wide on the mat. Lift your right foot up 1 inch, and then bring the sole of that right foot forward, lifting the leg straight and high. Four. And 5. From here, maybe you can rotate that leg out and then come right into your tree. Maybe not. Maybe you need to help that tree by bringing the sole of your foot into your thigh or your ankle. Either one is fine. If you're stable, you can grow your branches. But if today's it's not working, that's fine. And then release. Foot down, step that out. Back to Tadasana. Lift your toes, put them down. Gives you a broader base for balance. Inhale, bring that left foot up. Grab onto your big toe with your peace fingers. Uttita just means extended. So Uttita Padangusthasana, extended hand to toe pose. And Sana obviously is pose. And 5. Now maybe this leg you can bring out to the side, maybe not. You can always use a strap if you wish. Or just lift that knee up. You're stretching your iliacus, your other hip flexor, in addition to your psoas on this particular variation. And 5, release. Step that down. Back to Tadasana. Weight into your right foot. Lift your left foot up 1 inch. And then raise that straight leg forward. Trying to put your footprint on the far wall. And 5, maybe you can rotate that leg all the way over and come into tree pose. If that works for you, great. If it doesn't, put your foot down, regain your stability. Begin again. Balance is practice. And strengthening your ankle and your foot. Those are the 3 critical things about balance. Then on your exhale, release. Step that out. Maybe you want to do some hula hoop motions with your hips. It's remarkable how that makes your calves feel. And then come back to center, into Tadasana. We have 1 more vinyasa, and then I'll meet you in Dandasana, seated pose. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, up halfway. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or jump back to plank, down halfway. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. and 5. Look between your hands. If you wish, you can jump through your hands, or you can just come down onto your knees and come into a seated pose, however is best for you. Dandasana. Flex your feet, lift your toes up towards the ceiling, your palms next to your hips. Push that floor away, straighten your spine for 5 breaths. Push those heels away. And 5, release. Move your hands a little bit behind your hips, bend your knees, bring your footprints onto the mat. And then inhale, tuck your tailbone under, and then lift your hips up into reverse table. Draw your heels towards your hands, push your knees towards the front, and lift your hips. And 5, release, come all the way back down. Bring your feet out towards the front of the mat. We're going to go through Janusasana, and we'll see if I forget one again this week. Bend your right knee, bring your right sole into your inner left thigh. Inhale your spine tall. Exhale, forward fold. Reach for your toes in your left foot. Let your right knee come down, because this is opening up your hip in addition to stretching your hamstring. And 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. And then the next exhale, forward fold again, and maybe you can make a bind across the bottom of your foot. Draw your collarbones towards your foot, the crown of your head towards the far wall. And 5, release. Inhale, sit all the way back up. Lift up that right foot. And then bring that right heel on top of your left hip crease, if that works for you. If it doesn't, that's fine. You can always move that ankle down towards your knee. Inhale your spine tall. And then exhale. Reach for your left toes again, but getting there is not the issue. You're opening up that right hip. Make sure that the right knee is not being rotated. If you have any sensations in it at all, flex that foot. And on your next exhale, release. Come all the way back up. Right foot goes out to meet the left. Bend your left knee. Bring your left sole into your right inner thigh. Inhale your spine tall. Exhale, forward fold, reaching for the toes of your right foot with both hands. And 5, release. Inhale, come all the way up. And then your next exhale, forward fold again. This time, maybe you can make a bind across the bottom of your foot, maybe not. Maybe you can draw that right hip back a little bit more. making this a little bit more intense. Breathe into wherever you feel the sensations are greatest. And 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. Lift up your left foot. Bring your left heel into your right hip crease. And again, be wary of your left knee and any sensations you may have. Inhale your spine tall and exhale forward fold, reaching towards that right leg. And this side may be different, but that's okay. And 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. Stretch out your right foot to meet the left. This time, cross your ankles, lift your knees high. If you'd like to bump up, or even just try pushing the floor away, lifting up your hips. Maybe you can push the floor away, lift up your hips, and then kick your feet out. From here, we're going to do marichis. So to start, bend your right knee. Bring your right heel up towards your sit bone. You don't want it touching, but marichi, first position A, it's a straightforward fold. So straighten out your spine and then begin forward folding, reaching left hand towards that left leg. Maybe you can get your right shoulder in front of the right knee. Maybe you want to grab onto your toes of your right foot with your right hand and help draw your collarbones towards the front of the mat. And 5, release. Inhale, sit all the way back up. Left hand comes to the right knee. Right hand behind your hips. Inhale, your spine tall. That's the most critical thing here. And then twist to your right. Maybe that right arm can get over the top of your right thigh. Maybe not. Again, that's not important. The length of your spine is and your twist. And 5, release, come back to center. From here, bend that left knee and bring that left foot, the left heel, right up to your right sit bone. And then bring your right heel touching your left instep. This is another forward fold. So inhale your spine tall. And then forward. Maybe that right shoulder can come in front of that right knee. Maybe not. You can always bring that left arm out and around behind your back. And if your right shoulder is in front of your right knee, maybe you can make a bind of your hands on the right side of your body, trapping that right knee. And 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. This time, left hand on that right knee again. And I'm sorry, I'm wrong here. We want the right shoulder in front of that right knee if you can get it. Lift tall. Lift your left hand behind your hip, your back. Maybe you can get that right shoulder in front. I have these poses all screwed up. And 5, release. Come back to center. Straighten out your right leg. Straighten out your left leg. This time, bend your left knee. Bring your left heel in close to your left sit bone. This is Marichi A. So from here, forward fold. Right hand comes towards that right leg. Maybe that left shoulder can come in front of the left knee. And 5, release. Inhale, come back up. Right hand to the left knee. Left hand behind your back as a kickstand. Lengthen your spine. And exhale, twist to the left. And 5, release. Come back to center. This time, bend that right knee, bringing the right heel next to your left sit bone. Replace your left knee there. Inhale your spine tall. And on an exhale, forward fold. Maybe the left shoulder gets in front of that knee. Maybe you can bring that right hand behind your back and make a bind. Maybe not. Try keeping your sit bones on the mat. And 5, release. Inhale, come all the way back up. From here, you'll be twisting again to the left. Inhale tall, twist to the left. Maybe the right arm comes around the outside of that left knee. And 5, release. Come back to center. From here, straighten your legs all the way out to the front of the mat. Bend your knees, bring your footprints onto the mat about hip width apart. Grab onto the backs of your thighs and lean back for Navasana. So the most important part is to keep your spine straight. So imagine you're on a papoose board. And then on an inhale, lift your ankles up. You can release your bind if you wish. And 5, release your feet to the mat. We have 2 more Navasanas to go. So again, bring your feet to the mat. Lean back. On an inhale, lift your feet up. Maybe you can straighten out your legs this time if you wish. That intensifies this. You can bring your arms out wider. And 5, release. Maybe do a couple real quick windshield wipers. Get ready for the last one. Lean back, straighten your spine. Inhale, lift up. Release if you wish. And release. Bring your feet back onto the mat, stretch your legs long, and then bring your soles of your feet together into Vadakanasana, butterfly pose. Grab onto your toes, inhale your spine tall, and on an exhale, forward fold. Your crown of your head towards the far wall, collarbones towards the front of your mat. Feel this stretch on your groins and your other adductors. Next inhale, rise all the way back up. Push your feet forward so you're roughly a square with your ankles and your thighs. Inhale tall and exhale forward fold. And 5, release. Sit all the way back up. Straighten out your legs. And then cross your legs in Sukhasana. Now I've consumed way too much time already. So anyway, from here, if you'd like to go into Lotus Pose, you certainly can. I'll explain it. You can bring one leg, doesn't matter which leg, your heel up to your hip crease on the other side, and that is half lotus. Your other leg can be bent and your knee can be just resting on top of that other foot. For full lotus, and there's nothing exceptional about this. People have been doing this for lots of years, but it takes a lot of work to get to a point where your body's flexible enough. But maybe you can bring the other ankle over that, I'm sorry, your ankle over your calf. But regardless, from here, just set your hands on your knees, lift your spine tall. If you're in Sukhasana, that's great. If you're in half lotus, that's great. If you're in full lotus, also good. But from here, begin to fold forward and feel every little movement in your body as you come forward. This pose engages almost every muscle in your body, and feeling how your muscles work with each other. Is the intent of this. Feel how one muscle begins to get strained as the adjacent one releases. And pause wherever you need to. You don't have to go all the way over every time. Your body is different every day. That is normal. There's nothing wrong when that happens. It's your job to show empathy and accept the differences in your body from day to day and from year to year. And then begin to slowly rise back up in about 3 breaths. Bring the backs of your hands on your knees. You can make a mudra with your thumb and forefinger if you wish. That's known as Anjali Mudra. But again, that's not important. It's whatever gives you the most relaxation and awareness of your body. Take a deep cleansing breath in through your nose, out through your nose, and follow your breath for the next 10. Notice its strength. Notice how your body copes with the transition from exhale to inhale. Feel how your body consumes that oxygen. Notice the transition from exhale to inhale. Begin to deepen your breath. Open your eyes. Help your legs to untangle and stretch your heels out to the front of your mat. Bring your hands behind your hips and wave your toes by rotating your femurs in your pelvis, in your hip sockets. And then come down onto your elbows, all the way down onto your back. Raise your arms up towards the ceiling, stretching your fingertips to touch, and then rotate all the way over onto the floor, reaching towards the wall beyond your head. Stretch your heels away from your palms, fingers away from your toes. Spread your toes and fingers, wiggle them. Then return your arms somewhere along your side body. They can be straight out to the side. They can be right next to your hips. Move your legs wherever they want to be. And just let your feet go where gravity wants to tug them. Take a deep cleansing breath in through your nose. Exhale it out through your nose. Take one more cleansing breath. Let it go. and take rest. Begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness back into your space. Bring movement to your fingers and your toes. To your wrists and to your ankles. Gently roll your head from left to right. And when you're ready, walk your feet up towards your sit bones, drawing your knees into your chest, giving yourself a squeeze. Rock from left to right. And the next time you come over towards your right side, pause there for a moment in fetal pose, using your right arm as a pillow. And do a scan of your body to detect any tension or stress that may be hiding within your tissues that you want to address sometime later today or later this week. And then using the strength in your left hand, push the floor away, rising up to a seated position. Thank you for sharing your yoga with me this morning. Yoga itself is an inspiration. But those of you who practice consistently to maintain your health is inspiring. Take the peace and compassion and empathy that you practice on your mat with you everywhere you go and share it with your family, your friends, and those people you meet. Namaste. My name is Clint, and this has been Ashtanga Yoga. Thanks for coming.